Hey there, welcome back to the vlog. Now today I'm going to be looking at a couple of different camera rigs that I use for making my YouTube videos and how I put them together and why I've got a few different rigs and what they're for and that sort of thing. A few months ago now I did a short vlog on a small camera rig that I'd put together. It was probably about a year ago actually, and it was just the GoPro and a small spigot and a microphone underneath it. That got quite a bit of interest, and people have asked what I've been using now and what I've been using in the meantime, and as you can probably guess, I've been evolving the rig and the gear that I use, like everybody else on YouTube, quite a bit over that time. So I'm going to put together a few videos now, this being the first one, showing you how I evolved from that little camera rig, and there's a link to it just now in the cards above, and what's happened to that and what I've bought and what I've played with and experimented with over time. Hopefully some of this will be useful to you. Don't forget, hit the subscribe now so that you get notified of those things and that little notify bell, and if there's any questions you've got during these videos, put them in the comments below and I'll answer them in the next video. Okay, let's carry on. Now, like a lot of people on YouTube, I started out with the GoPro for doing this kind of thing because it's just real easy. You can put it into the small cage, just walk around, push the button, talk to it, point it basically at your nose so that your eyes are above the center line, just something basic like that, and your first half dozen vlogs are just done like that. But then you get into the wind and it gets a bit of noisy. You find out it's a little bit shakier than other people's videos and things. So what I did is what a lot of people do with the GoPro. I just evolved it. So instead of looking like this, it now looks like this. I've just made a couple of small modifications here. So I've got the GoPro in the cage, just on the normal tripod mount fitting that comes with the GoPro. Underneath that I've just put a lighting spigot. I've got the GoPro audio adapter and a Rode video micro mic with a wind fluff on it. That answers a lot of questions to just using a GoPro for vlogging. Suddenly I can get a more stable image because I'm holding it below the camera, not centered on the camera, so rotation has suddenly moved away from the camera lens. That's an awesome basic thing. That's how Steadicams work all the time. I've got rid of the wind noise and all the background noise by using a directional mic with a really good dead cat on it, and the audio adapter, which provides a really good preamp for the GoPro when it works. So that's the first problem with this setup, is you need to be very methodical about how you shoot and how you set it up, because if you do it in the wrong order, the preamp won't recognize that there's a microphone that needs power, and it won't power it up, and it will record everything at about -50 dB. A lot of people say it's not recording audio. It's actually more correct to say it is recording audio, but it's recording it at -50 dB, so it's completely useless. But if you do have something you can amp it up, you can hear that there is something there. So that's all about powering the preamp. Now this is the GoPro 6, and they still haven't fixed that preamp problem. So come on GoPro, let me know when you've got something better, and I'll tell the whole world about it, or at least all my subscribers. That, however, is a very good basic vlogging system. The GoPro is about 600-700 New Zealand. You can pick them up for. It's $10 for the spigot, and around about 100 and something New Zealand for the microphone with the dead cat. It's under $1,000 New Zealand, about 500 US, 600 you can pick it up for in the US, and you've got a really good vlogging rig. Okay, so you've got your GoPro rig. Suddenly you're getting a smoother image, you're getting much better sound thanks to the Rode mic and the dead cat. You're not getting any wind noise, but you still can't see what you're shooting with the GoPro. So this is where you start to think, well, how can I extend this rig a little bit? Suddenly you can't put it in your pocket anymore, but you can get this neat little bracket here. Now this is a bracket that you usually use on top of a camera to take a flash away or a camera light away from the lens of a DSLR. But on top of that, you can slot it in quite nicely between your spigot here and between your GoPro mount, and then off to the side here on the hot shoe I've got this little cell phone mount thing, and I can use the GoPro app to be able to now monitor what the camera is seeing. So suddenly I've taken that from a rig where I'm just sort of pointing it at the top of my nose and hoping I'm getting things, and not really being able to see what I'm shooting, to be able to see what I'm shooting and actually get a pretty good result from it. And it just takes it up that step a little bit further. I can monitor it, I can make sure I'm in focus, I can make sure I'm in frame. If I've got somebody with me, I can make sure they're in frame as well, and all that sort of thing. And I'm not taking that big risk of getting a really good moment and missing it on the footage because I can't see where the hell I'm pointing the camera. Being able to put a phone on here and monitor what you're shooting, it just doubles the value of this rig. Unfortunately, it also doubles the value of this rig, but let's face it, we've all got a cell phone in our pocket anyway, so that's not really a thing. So this is me shooting on the GoPro rig. Now there's two risks here. One is that I can't monitor the audio levels. I really hope that it's picking up audio at the moment. I did set it up in the right order, so we'll see what happens. The great thing is it is really stable. The GoPro 6 in itself in particular is a fantastically stable camera when you're walking around. It's built for this. It's built for moving around, and it's built for keeping a smooth image in really rugged conditions. So if I'm just walking down the street, it's going to deal with that real easy. The Rode mic I've got down here, as you can hear, it's a bit windy at the moment. There's bits of gust and blusteriness that would normally be brushing across the microphones. It's not doing that, I don't think. The one thing I do have to watch out for is making sure I'm looking at the GoPro and not at the camera over here. It's real easy to do that. That's a habit you can get into though. Now you are always going to get this distortion out here. That can be controlled by using the linear mode on the new GoPros, which a lot of people are now used to doing. That gets rid of that traditional small aperture distortion and wide angle kind of look by quite cleverly using different parts of the sensor to shoot the footage with. It also means, of course, so that you can keep the camera quite physically close to you, and so the sound that the microphone is picking up is more significant compared to background noise around you, so you can get, once again, much cleaner audio. And if I had somebody standing next to me here, I can keep them in shot quite well, because now I can look at what I'm shooting on the cell phone. The one problem I do have with setting this thing up is that the camera talks to the phone over Wi-Fi. That's a bit of an issue because it's not something you can just quick pull out of your pocket, flip the screen up and run on. It takes half a minute to a minute to set this up, and it also doesn't fit in your pocket anymore. It's starting to become a bit of a larger rig. It's a bit more conspicuous, so it's not something everybody feels comfortable about walking around town with. Anyway, so I'll head back in the studio now. My neighbours are looking at me like I'm a bit weird, which is fair enough. I am a bit weird, I guess. And we'll look at the next thing. So as you can see, the combination of the phone, the GoPro, the Rode Video Micro mic, audio adapter, spigot and bracket, it's a fairly straightforward rig that anybody can put together. It's relatively cheap. Things like the phone and quite often the phone holder and things people have got lying around these days, or you can pick them up online cheap as chips. If you haven't got a GoPro, you can also use something like the Yi 2K or other sports cameras. They can give pretty similar results for quite a bit less money if you don't have the bucks for a GoPro straight away. Or go have a look online for second-hand GoPro 4s and 5s. They're popping up at a pretty damn good price now as well. Tomorrow I'm going to come back and I'll have another rig that I put together, the thing that I moved to after this when I wanted to sort of escalate things and just try some other stuff out. So if you want to come back and see that, you can click on the subscribe button just here. If you want to see other things I've done, you can click on this one and this one. That would be awesome. And don't forget to hit subscribe below. If you haven't already, hit the notify bell, click on the like button, and please do leave some comments below. Tell me about things that you've done with your rigs and other stuff you've looked for, and also any questions I can answer in the next video. That's a really good place to put them. Okay, I will see you tomorrow.